Anybody want to know who's the dude with the shirt up here? I'm one of your speakers. I'll be speaking on Sunday, but I'm here to introduce somebody. When I started in network marketing 21 years ago, at the age of 7, I started a long time ago. I was told that if you wanted to be successful, you had to find somebody who has what you want and do what they do. You follow me? In other words, you needed to follow success. Copy what successful people do. Duplicate what successful people do. The biggest earners have the biggest libraries. How many of you heard that? Okay, so you guys are obviously here. You're studying success. Good for you. If you were a surfer, you'd probably have Surfer Magazine, right? If you're into being fit, you probably have Men's Fitness or Women's Fitness. If you want to know what dudes do or what dudes are like, you'd probably have Cosmopolitan. Right? I read that, try to figure out what we're all about. If you're in network marketing, what do you read? Networking Times. I've been in network marketing 21 years, and as long as this publication's been in existence, I have been a subscriber. This is the only publication that is explicitly dedicated to the profession of network marketing, and we're very, very fortunate today to have the CEO and the editor-in-chief of this publication. You guys give it up for Chris Gross and Josephine Gross. Come on up, guys.
Thank you very much for that very fine introduction, Todd, and thanks very much, folks, for your applause. I want to start off with a little audience participation. So with a show of hands, I'll make some noise. Noise is good, I can hear it, because it's hard to see from here. How many of you out there are network marketers? Let's see a show of hands. Okay, all right. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right. Now I'm going to ask another question. And if you agree with what I'm saying, make a lot of noise. And if you don't, then just be quiet, okay? All right. How many of you out there believe that network marketing is the most powerful vehicle for personal and professional development and financial freedom in the 21st century, and that your company is leading the charge? Let's hear it. Okay, that's good. I get it. All right, now I'm going to ask another question that's going to sound vaguely familiar with one subtle difference. See if you can pick up on it. How many of you out there believe that the general public thinks that network marketing is the most powerful vehicle for personal and professional development, financial freedom in the 21st century, and your company is leading the pack? Whoa, big difference, big difference. Well, before you get alarmed, folks, let me assure you this spells opportunity for each and every one of you out there. See, people in this emerging and this evolving economy are being downsized, right-sized, some are being capsized. They're being re-engineered, summarily fired. And you folks have the perfect antidote for job insecurity in this economy. You have a business model that works with a system that's flawless. Give yourselves a hand for your decision to join network marketing. Okay, I mentioned the economy real quickly, so I'm a little bit of an economist by hobby, and I was having a conversation with a fella that runs a 100-year-old organization called the Direct Selling Association. They do a lot of work for lobbying for the direct selling rules and regulations and laws worldwide. And we were talking about something, alarming statistic that's present in network marketing. You may even have experienced this yourself in your organization, and that is high attrition. He told me that 95 out of 100 people that join a network marketing company are gone in the first year. Have you seen anything like that in your organizations? You have, right? People join, they get all excited. Next thing you know, they're in the witness protection program and you can't find them? Okay, all right. Well, at Networking Times, we figured that we have to do something about this. But in order to do something about it, we have to understand it. So we did a little bit of research into the problem of this high turnover. And because it really hit me hard. I was a home builder. We built about 1,400 homes, and there's no way I could have made a business run with a 95% attrition rate. This wouldn't have happened. So we spent some time looking around, and we found something that was really surprising. We found that the reason people join and the reason that they quit is identical. Would you like to hear what it is? Okay. So here's what happens, folks. The day someone joins, someone does a presentation, and during that presentation, they transfer their belief in themselves. I can do this business. their belief in the profession. They're proud to announce their networkers, not some secret agent skulking off in the shadows someplace. And their belief in the company and the company's products. They take that belief and they transfer it to the new person. And the new person gets it. They internalize it, and what they do is they recognize that this is a vehicle that will help them achieve their dreams, their goals, their aspirations, sign them up, they're in. Does that sound familiar? Okay. Now what happens is they go home. Now, home is a different kind of a place. Some competing perspectives exist at home. Like, you did what? You can't sell, you can't think. What happened to you? You just joined this thing, you're so weak you fall for everything. It's a pyramid scam, a Ponzi scam. What were you thinking again? And to say there's a chink in the armor is to put it mildly. So what happens, in fact, folks, is that belief level from home trumped that newfound belief, and it's gone. And as a result, you may not know about it for 24 hours or 24 weeks or the end of the year when the renewal comes up, but these people are on their way out the door, and that's what contributes to the high attrition rate. So what is it that gets people in and gets them out, folks? It's transfer of belief. So if we're going to make a difference and put a dent in this, we have to accelerate the belief-building process, and that's exactly why we created Networking Times. It's a device, it's a structure that's put together specifically and strategically to accelerate the belief-building process. And to give you a little bit more insight about how that actually works, I'm going to hand the stage over to my wife, the editor-in-chief, Dr. Josephine Gross. Josephine.
Thank you. Well, as the first female here in the front of the room, I would like to first acknowledge and commend all the women that are present here. Guys, can you give them a hand?
A cheer for the women. All right.
Because it is part of my personal mission to make sure that in the future we see more female top earners in each and every company. Yes? All right. The way I got started in what I do is 12 years ago, a friend of mine introduced me to network marketing. And I felt skeptical. I was wondering first, does this work? And second, can I do this? I started to read the company materials, but I'm from Europe, and in Europe we are raised with a critical mind, and I was thinking, well, of course the company is going to say it's a great product and it's a great opportunity. I went to my upline and said, is there anything generic out there that's going to teach me how to do this business or how people succeed in this business? And she said, well, she gave me a couple of books. That was 12 years ago. It was John Kalange, Being the Best You Can Be in Network Marketing, and John Milton Fogg, The Greatest Network in the World. But she said, there's one more thing you need to do for your ongoing education, and that is you need to subscribe to the Upline Journal. Now, has anyone here been in the business long enough to remember the Upline Journal? Yes? I see a few hands. Great.
Okay.
So I signed up for Upline. I left my information on the voicemail. We didn't have internet at home back then yet. And so when I went to my first company training, the first thing I did was, well, during the break, I went to the booth area. And I looked for the Upline booth because I wanted to pick up my first issue. And that's where I met Chris, who back then was the CEO of Upline. And we don't have too much time, so I'll just say, after a brief but memorable conversation, we decided to have dinner together, and we got married.
No excuses, folks.
So he was a very good recruiter. So now all of a sudden, I found my life mission. I started working for Upline first as a circulation manager and then as an editor. And Upline eventually evolved into Networking Times. We founded Networking Times just about 10 years ago. And as editor-in-chief, I love what I do. So how many people here in the room are familiar with Networking Times?
Okay.
Quite a few already. Okay. So Networking Times is available on the newsstand. It's a third-party validation piece. You can walk into a Barnes & Noble and Borders, or borders and go to the magazine section and to the business section there and show your prospect, see, this is a totally legitimate business. It's in the business section here. Here is a professional journal that attests to that. So my favorite part about putting the magazine together is, well, the body of the magazine is really what we call our master networker stories, which is we interview top leaders in the profession from all over the world, and we ask them, how did you get started? What were your struggles and challenges? How did you overcome them? What was your daily mode of operation back then, and what do you do now? And now that you have made millions, why do you still continue to do what you do? And I have to say, this first question always intrigues me the most. How did you get started? Because everybody, every network marketer is tries to figure out how do you recruit one of those leaders, right? Wouldn't you like to recruit a top leader like that? And I have to say, I've never received the same answer twice. As soon as I make up my mind that flyers don't work, I interview someone who got started in the business responding to a flyer on his car. Or you think classified ads don't work? Well, I know top leaders who got recruited by a classified ad. Same with Facebook or Twitter, and so on. I would say after all my interviews, the bottom line really is that every success story is a love story. You have to fall in love with the highest version of yourself. You guys already know that because that's why you're here. You have to commit to learning, to be constantly in learning mode. That's how I arrived to, in case you wonder, I'm from Belgium. English is my third language, okay? When I tell my family that I'm in charge of a newsstand publication in America, and that I write and edit in my third language, they can't believe it. But that's what's possible if you really commit to learning. So fall in love with the highest version of yourself. And second, you have to fall in love with people. See, there's one way that the business doesn't work. Sometimes when we're at an event, I'll talk to a young person and they say, I found that this company is going to be great. I think it's a great vehicle. I'm just going to do this for a couple of years, and then I'm going to be free to do my passion, which is windsurfing and whatever it is. Well, out of all the people I've interviewed so far, this has never worked once. You really have to fall in love with the business and let it get to your heart and really fall in love with helping people achieve their dreams. So that's really what I learned. So the Master Networker Stories is the bulk of Networking Times. And we have our departments, and each issue is dedicated to a theme. Because part of our mission is to really help people become more professional as networkers so that we can eventually take this business model mainstream, okay? That's why we have a theme, and based on the theme, we interview someone from the mainstream public, and we choose them based on a special skill or accomplishment that they have that network marketers can learn from. Example, our Gen Feb issue of 2010 was on creating culture, okay? So we interviewed Southwest Airlines, the ex-president Colleen Barrett of Southwest Airlines. Now, you think we can learn something from the way Southwest Airlines does customer service? In the same issue, we interviewed Tony Shea from Zappos.com. Can we learn something from the way they do their customer service? Yes, so there's always two personalities from the mainstream, that are very famous, that then will relate what they do, what they do well to network marketing. And our publication is becoming more and more global as network marketing really is reaching the world. The way we put it together is we have a weekly conference call with people from all over, represented by already 4 continents, and is growing, and that's where we discuss together what the theme should be and the people to feature. So the leaders are not just American leaders, they're really leaders worldwide. And so that's, we really took it up a notch, and I'm even more excited about what I do because we feature people from, from Africa, from the Middle East. So just to give you a little illustration about that. Chris and I just came back from Malaysia just last week. And we were at an event that had 9,000 people from 60 countries, and we were 2 of only 5 Americans. okay? And that's where I really get passionate about what I do and about my purpose, which is to help take network marketing mainstream, because I believe that the principles that we teach and learn in network marketing, which are cooperation and servant leadership and self-empowerment and personal accountability and abundance thinking, right? We know that in order to get a bigger piece of the pie, we just need to make the pie bigger, right? So if the economy at large would adhere more to these principles that we teach and that we apply, do you think we would have a different world? And we could really see that happen at, yes. We could really see that happen in a sort of a microcosm where we were at that event. All these countries that are represented in the media as always fighting, you know, political tensions, social tensions, religious tensions, and all these people were coming together. And the theme of the event was, "We are one." And some of the people who were there, in their country, the average monthly salary is $50 a month. There were some other countries, so there was mainly represented Africa, Middle East, and Asia, okay? So take a country like Sudan, $50 a month monthly salary, and then you know, Dubai, where the average salary is maybe $5,000, and all these people were coming together. And speaking of you know, this is the No Excuses Summit, okay? So imagine someone who makes $50 a month, okay? And they got from, let's say they're from Uganda, and they got themselves and a couple of their leaders to the event in Malaysia. It was in Kuala Lumpur. You think these people have commitment? It's just unimaginable. See, these people, even when I interview leaders from Africa, I ask them sometimes, well, how do people even get started with this, you know, if they make $50 a month? And he said, the person I last interviewed said, yes. They tell me in the beginning, they say, well, how do we get started? We don't have the $150 for the starter kit. Well, they pool resources, they sell a goat or a cow, and so they put their money together to buy the first starter kit, and but then, do you think they are committed when they do that? Do you think they just, like Jimmy Davis was saying, do they try or do they do it? Right? So they're extremely committed, and then of course, as soon as they start getting a check, then it becomes much easier. Chris, did you want to share something about your experience in Malaysia?
I can say that the theme of this event here is no excuses. And had any of you been with me and heard this fella from Indonesia explain what it was like to get involved in this business, you'd understand that we cannot come up with excuses that make any sense. This fella decided that he wanted to get involved in the network marketing business, but he didn't have the money, of course, and so what he had to do is he had to save it. So for 2 months he's saving every single penny he can handle, and he's not even anywhere near what it needs to be, but he's newly married and he's got the pressure from the in-laws and stuff like that. You can imagine what it's like. You know, the in-laws just don't think he's measuring up to the grade. He's get a real job, give this thing up, and he couldn't do that. So he convinced, get this, his mother-in-law to give up her necklace. He could hawk it to get the money for the starter kit so he could get this business going. And that wasn't enough either. He had to go back to his dad, and he had to borrow his dad's TV so he could sell it so he could get enough money for the starter kit. When he got that starter kit, he started into the business. And he replaced his income in 2 months and paid everybody back. He was making $500 a month and living like a king. But that wasn't enough. He kept going. He got $1,000 a month. And then he got $1,000 a week. And then he got $2,000 a week. And now he's making $5,000 a week. And he's just living large, to say the least. One of the big leaders from the company was coming into his little village. It took a caravan of 30 cars 3 hours to get there from the airport. And as they go through all these jungles and stuff, all of a sudden they come into this clearing and there's this little town there, and there's big pictures of this guy they're bringing in to speak. And they had put together 5,000 people to hear them at this event. Talk about excuses. These guys got no excuses, and these guys have no excuses because they're not complacent. They don't feel like they've made it like we do here in North America. What they feel like is, this is an opportunity that I cannot afford to let get by. The quality of my life depends upon it. And my dreams will be built in this network marketing company. So, transfer of belief. Belief is crucial. I implore with you, folks, take advantage of all the information you have here, build that belief, and get that belief going throughout your culture. We're here to help. We'll be at the booth the rest of this weekend.
If I can ask one last thing, maybe,
one last thing?
is these people may not have a car, or they may only make $50 a month, but they do have internet. So listen to everything you will be learning here, because if you can use the internet properly, the world is your oyster.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.